It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Welcome to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. We're on the road for election November 3rd. Prior to that, in some cases, some of you are voting before that. My guest today is Tim Twardzik. He's running on the 123rd District House of Representatives. But I want to show you this clip that Tim put together.
My mother always told me to tell the truth. If you keep the truth, you don't get in trouble. And my father said he wasn't smart enough to be a liar because he couldn't remember what he lied about. But, basically you want to try to serve people. He was able to produce jobs and help his community. I did a lot of community work, and that allowed me to meet everybody here. And they're good people. My father graduated from the University of Notre Dame with an accounting degree and went to work for a big 8 accounting firm. But after a year, he put his resignation letter in and came back home because he wanted to open a business. His first idea was pierogies because his mother made great pierogies with the local church. So around the kitchen table with 5 women, he started making pierogies. Families ran our business. My father always felt proud that if somebody worked for him and they had their child come work for him, so we had sons and daughters working and we had grandchildren working, and they all deserve a good deal. They've allowed our family to make a living, and share the wealth. That's what I want to do. I want to try to help my neighbors, help our community, and we deserve good government, and I'm hoping that I can step in. And it'll take me a while to learn the system, but you got to give it a try, because if we just sit at home and yell at the TV, we're not going to get any better.
Well, folks, there you have, Tim, it's an interesting clip you have there. It tells the story about, you and your family, and, you were telling me a story about your dad. He never...
Yes. Well, I was born and raised in beautiful Shenandoah and worked in our family business. But I went to school in Shenandoah where we didn't always win the game, but we never lost the fight.
Yeah.
And again, we were raised tough, but we're old coal miners. And again, we worked hard and played hard. But my father was an entrepreneur and started Mrs. T's Pierogies after working for a year with a big 8 accounting firm. He brought the desire to come back to Pennsylvania, into his hometown, use his mother's recipe, and introduce pierogies to the world. And the past 67 years, we've been making Mrs. T's, and there's right now 240 wonderful people who are working overtime to make sure pierogies are still on the shelves during this crazy time.
It's amazing because my wife and I, we're looking in supermarkets. You hardly sometimes could find a Mrs. T's pierogies because they're gone that fast. Okay.
Yes.
When you were in the business, you had to, you were in charge. You met people. You developed a great business. What are those skills? What you need now to bring to Harrisburg?
I think during this crazy time, it's very important to have a business person in Harrisburg. Somebody who has signed a paycheck and understands budgets, but also has a lot of respect for the employees you work with and the customers you serve. And being a business person, we did a lot of event marketing, so it was a lot of hands-on, meeting people and greeting people, which I enjoyed the most out of my position there, because you got a chance to sample pierogies to people and get their immediate reaction and be part of their activities. And we did a lot of cause-related marketing, and that allowed us to go and work with people and help them raise money for their event, whether it was the Kiwanis Club up in Buffalo, New York, or the Race for the Cure down in Philadelphia. We were everywhere that we could put a pierogi on, into people's mouths to introduce more people to the product. And again, the experience was wonderful because you got to meet and greet. And that's one of my, I guess, I enjoy the most is meeting and greeting. Again, and then as a job of a politician, That's, I think, missing today, because all we're doing is fighting with each other. But when you win the race, if I'm lucky to win, I'll get down to Harrisburg, represent the entire 123rd, and do what's right for the people back home.
Some of the issues that we talked about before, what are some of the key issues that you think your district as well as the state of Pennsylvania face?
Well, we have to reopen safely. The unemployment rate is so high. People are suffering. Small businesses, restaurants may not open again. And that's really a shame that some of the stores were picked and were allowed to be winners and losers. So we need to get back and support our local businesses. They take the risk, and they supply jobs for our communities. So trying to fight the unemployment, trying to bring those numbers down. Again, with the Manufacturers Association, I was at a recent meeting where employers are still having some trouble getting good employees because some people are afraid of work, or some people are just taking the extra unemployment at home. There's got to be a happy medium where people are not paid more money to stay home than they are to work, because there's pride in work. And the people here in Schuylkill County with economic development, I've been involved with SEDCO, the economic development arm, bringing new jobs to the community. And we are blessed with wonderful workforces. And these multinational companies who have branches in other areas are always excited about the good workforces we have in Pennsylvania, and the best production and the best numbers. Whether it's the Tyson Foods plants or the Wegmans, they're really impressed with the workforces we have.
Your experience in working with people, you're only one state representative going into 200 some, I forget how many are in the House, but when you bring an issue up and you bring a resolution up, you have to work with people and try to get them to understand what you're about. You've been doing that for years, haven't you?
The old game of horse trading, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's not a dictatorial position. You need to go in there and work together. And if the 123rd would have a Republican candidate be successful, then we would be able to work with the 125th, Joe Kerwin, and Jerry Knowles, if he's successful in his reelection. Then we have Republicans who could work together toward the same goals of limited government, personal responsibility, and working with Senator Dave Argel. He's been good to our communities, and I would love to work together with him because he has the experience, and we can guide together and make sure Schuylkill County is well represented.
You're talking about hardships. I think one of the hardest hardships for senior citizens and maybe people who are retired at 60 or 65 worked hard. Some people remortgaged their homes 2-3 times to exist. Everyone's trying to raise a family with all the consequences you have in just raising a family. And then seniors were told many years ago when the casinos came in, I think it was Rendell, where we're going to eliminate your property tax, we'll eliminate the school taxes. Well, how long ago has Rendell been in? And we hear the same old, how they lie to the senior citizens, how they lie to the people just to get a vote, and then, it's abandoned. Your thoughts about property tax and school tax?
Well, I've been knocking on doors with a mask and standing 6 feet away and meeting and greeting the constituents of the 123rd, and they are concerned about school property tax. Again, they're losing homes because of this tax that just keeps coming and coming, and it's not funding our schools correctly. There has to be a solution, whether it's a homestead tax like some other states run, where people will be able to stay in their home. We have to spread the tax to different taxes, whether it's a personal property or your income tax or sales tax, but then more people have the opportunity to pay that, and we're not chasing people out of their homes. This has been an issue that's been on ballots or on people's minds forever, and somewhere, somehow, you never quite get enough votes. Well, I'm going to go down there, and I promise I will try to eliminate school property taxes. I'll take the hard votes, but you need to make that change because it doesn't serve the students, the schools, or the people in the community well.
There's a word that we use or we have to live by every day. In my business, in your business, it's called accountability. Mm-hmm. And why don't the general public, the voters, look at the respective politicians the same way they would look at a doctor or an attorney. You know, if you need surgery, what do? You research the doctor. You know, what about the doctor? Okay, what you're concerned about, correct me if I'm wrong, is this doctor capable to perform that surgery on you or a loved one? And you don't care, okay, whether he has a Cadillac, a jet. All you're concerned about is this person capable of doing that? So you want to go after that. Why? Some people do. I'm not going to put everyone in the same category. But yet there are people out there that will not hold people who are running for office accountable. They don't look at their past. They don't look what they promised. They don't look what is going to happen. And they fall in the same old trap, Tim, of putting people who are not accountable. What happened to accountability?
Well, that's a good question. I guess, is it because it's a 2-year cycle you forget, or it's a 4-year cycle and we forget? But other people, as we make some phone calls, they say, well, I'm not going to vote because my vote doesn't count. Nobody listens. I said, they do count now, and they do listen. And we've been able to find some people and register them to vote, and there's still time to do that registration, because your vote counts today, especially today. And we do need to hold people accountable. People who aren't doing a good job should be exchanged out of office. And that's why it's a good opportunity to go in there and try something different, because Neil Goodman did a nice job. He's retired. And now let's try a Republican in the 123rd, where we could work together and move forward and improve our community.
In doing that, I noticed that you have a number of endorsements, okay? And and this goes for anyone, I would assume that when someone's endorsing you, there's a reason for that endorsement. Right. So let's look at some of these here. You got the Pennsylvania Family Council. Right. They endorsed you.
It's a pro-life group, and I'm 100% pro-life, respecting, before you're born and as you go into seniors. I think every life is precious, and we should make sure that we try to take care of everyone we can. And again, having their endorsement is a positive, because they are very pro-life, and I'm a pro-life candidate.
You have the NRA. Tell me that you got the highest endorsement that the NRA could give anyone.
Right. As a candidate, I have an AQ rating, and as a candidate, that's the highest you're allowed to have. I'm a pro-Second Amendment person. I own some guns. My boys shot at Boy Scouts, and like a target shoot today. And it's important to be able to keep that right. And I'm very proud to earn that NRA endorsement. As a matter of fact, they sent flyers out to members of the NRA in the 123rd that Tim Twardzik is the endorsed candidate.
Well, it's interesting. Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce.
The Chamber, again, represents small business, and my experience with the Chamber is I was the president of the Shenandoah Chamber of Commerce and also the president of the Schuylkill Chamber of Commerce. So I spent a lot of time working with small businesses and learning what's important and how do we help each other, make sure that we're staying in business, support your fellow members. But again, a pro-business person, because I have business experience, is what we need in Harrisburg today. I'm not a lifelong politician. I won't stay there and get a pension. I will go down and work hard to try to work it back.
Why do you say that, Tim?
A lot of people are against the pension because normal people, hardworking people get a 401k.
And but don't you think people earn those things? It's like a doctor saying, well, I'm just going to be a doctor for 10 years, and even though I'm a great doctor and commit great surgeries, and that's after 10 years, I'm done, because to me, and maybe, I just think if you are a good person and you are doing such a great job at the job you're doing, okay, if you say what you're going to say, and all of a sudden Tim says, well, I promise you 6 years, 8 years, and I'm gone now, okay, I think we're missing something there.
Right, but in the current environment and what's to come in the 2021, it can't be that much fun to be in Harrisburg for 10 years.
Okay, now all right, okay, that's a different story.
But it's an opportunity that I am not going to sit there and work with special interests and say I've got to vote this way because then I won't be supported. I'll be voted out. You know what? I want to do what's right for our community. If I do a good job, people will vote me in again. If I don't return a good job for my community, then I don't have to go, and I'll find the next adventure.
Yeah. Talking to Tim Twardzik, folks, the 123rd House of Representatives, the 123rd District. Interesting. Look what's happening in the state of Pennsylvania today. Just see what's happening, how this the governor and has affected you, okay, in some areas good, but how much of this really is political? And that's the sad part. Is it political? We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. November 3rd, please vote. Even prior to that, some of you voted. Remember, 24/7, ssptv.com. All of our shows are there, all neighborhood programs. And Comcast 190 in Pottsville every day, 7 to 11. Of course, up here in SSP TV 13 and 513, we're on 24/7 on the HD channel of 13. Wilkes-Barre Mountaintop, Kingston, channel 92. Every Saturday and Sunday evening from 7 to 11 p.m. And also Comcast 190, Lackawanna County, 8 to 11 a.m. My guest is Tim Twardzik. He's running for state representative of the 123rd District. Tim, as we're talking about, your endorsements, here again, I think they're important because people are saying, well, look, before I really put the stamp of approval, you had to have accomplished something with them. Now, we read about the we heard about Pennsylvania Family Council, the NRA, Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce. Now we have the Pennsylvania Coal Alliance. What's going on with that?
Again, we have hardworking people who, power the Industrial Revolution with coal. And again, it's important for us to keep our coal jobs here because the new mining is providing good jobs, providing energy for America we need, and also doing the reclamation. And the Green New Deal and eliminating coal and natural gas will crush Pennsylvania. These are good paying jobs in helping our community, and I'm proud to have their endorsement because we need to keep these good jobs.
The Citizens Alliance of Pennsylvania.
Okay, this is a PAC out of Harrisburg who are working with Republican ideals of the true constitutional coverage, also limited government and personal responsibility. And they've backed candidates who follow those values because they want good people to run for office. And again, in this crazy world, it's difficult to find good people to run. People look at you like, why are you doing this?
Yes.
And it's sometimes you scratch your head and you think, why are you doing it? But I was brought up to serve and help people, and this is my next opportunity to help people. I've done it through our business, I've done it through economic development, I've done it through volunteerism, and now I want to get to Harrisburg and try one more time to go and help our good folks of the 123rd.
I always say I applaud anyone who's running for office because it's a challenge. You've done well, you're very successful, you've certainly contributed a lot to the society. Right now, you can still be doing a lot to society, but now you want to get into another realm, which is running for office. Right. And the Hospital and Health System Alliance of Pennsylvania.
This is a group that works to make sure that health care is affordable and available for all Pennsylvanians. And again, I've had experience through the hospital board of Schuylkill Health. Several years ago, we brought a new board members in to take a look at how our hospitals were doing. And it turns out we weren't doing so well. So we were able to right our ship and position our hospitals to merge in with Lehigh Valley Health System. So with Lehigh Valley Health System coming, they brought a lot of money and expertise and availability to doctors, plus they saved over 1,200 jobs in our community. Now, if we had lost our hospital, those 1,200 jobs would disappear. Someone eventually would show up and give us Band-Aids again. But having that lack of quality professional healthcare people would be devastating for our community. And we also saved the hospital. They've invested a lot of money. We've improved our care. And Geisinger St. Luke's came and partnered to build a new hospital in our community, creating more jobs, creating another alternative for healthcare. So competition is good. It's good in business. It's good in the hospital business because it makes us better.
When you're looking at these endorsements, Pennsylvania Family Council, National Rifle Association, Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce, Pennsylvania Coal Alliance, Citizens Alliance of Pennsylvania, Hospital Health System Alliance of Pennsylvania, and Schuylkill County Board of Realtors. Schuylkill County Board of Realtors.
It's a good group of people who really suffered during the pandemic when things were shut down. It's hard to show a home when you can't get in it. It's hard to sell a home when you can't see it. And limited access. You can't have a husband and wife walk into a showing. You only have one at a time. And again, it's hard to get a husband and wife to agree if they like the color of that bathroom or not. And it's a real challenge. But really, the endorsement there, I think, is because of my fight against blight. Blight in our communities in northeastern Pennsylvania are very tough. Again, we were the most densely populated square mile in the world back in the 1920s when coal was king. And now we've lost all that population, but all these row homes still sit. And again, as the owners have passed away, no one takes over the home, or out-of-town landlords are buying them, and they're in disrepair and falling down. And if you're living next to a house that's been empty for 20 years and the roof is leaking and causing you trouble, that reduces your value, reduces your quality of life, and you're not going to be able to sell your home to anyone else. So we need to have a strong blight fight. Senator Argel and the representatives were able to, I believe, get $1.4 million recently to fight blight in the community again. Now the problem is, pick any one of our small towns and that $1.4 million can be used up right away. But it's a start. Yeah. When I come into office, I want to think outside the box and think, how else can we eliminate this blight? And part of it is tearing down structures, which is very expensive. But right now we have the National Guard, we have VOTEC schools. They're training people as heavy operators, heavy equipment operators. And instead of doing heavy equipment operating on a computer screen simulation, why don't we get to a community and bring people in and tear down these houses? And there's blocks that every house is empty. So you start there, you tear them down. When you get really good, you can go tear down the house in the middle of the block.
Yes.
But it's a way we can do that and work with our transfer stations and our waste dumps to take in this at reduced rates to help their community. So it's just a different outside the box thought, but we have to try to eliminate blight so it raises all the property values, gets more people to move into our communities, and rebuilds our area.
Mrs. T's Pierogies is probably the leading pierogi taste-wise, etc., because of its recipe. Okay, your father's recipe. When you're saying you're doing these things, do you have a plan? That you have any plans? Not that I want you to divulge them, because we could say a lot of things, but before we initiate a new show, we always see, well, what is the show going to be and what revenue will it provide, and you do a plan. I'm not going to, we produce all these neighborhood programs. Well, they've been successful because we planned them. And of course, the viewers have to, of course, tune in. Do you have specific plans for some of these specific things?
Oh, they're all top secret, Sam.
Yeah.
But I'm a shoot from the hip guy. Actually, I'm part of a visionary. It's kind of a gift or a curse that I could think of things down the road and have different ideas, and it's worked well for me in.
It has, and I say that because I don't want people thinking that, well, they just say that. Right. There has to be some substance there.
No, but again, there are a lot of resources we will work with, and again, talking to voters and talking to other politicians and public servants, you find out what works. You don't have to reinvent everything, but every once in a while you could fine-tune it and try something a little different. But you have to have the courage to take those votes. Sometimes our votes are going to be unpopular, and people back here are not going to be happy with my vote. But I'm going to try what's best.
It'll benefit in the long term, right. I would assume. So, Tim, that's your camera. You tell your constituents why they should vote for Tim Twardzik for the 123rd House of Representatives.
Well, thank you for tuning in. And, Sam, thank you for the opportunity to reach out to voters. Again, I've knocked on some doors and made the phone calls, but not as many as you could because of the pandemic. But people who have talked to me have told me what their issues are, and I've put them in the notebook, and I want to try to serve my community. The community here has been excellent to our family. It's allowed us to have a wonderful life, and I've raised a family here. I'm still here, and I want to try to serve one more time for the people of the 123rd. If you'll go out and vote for me, I'd really appreciate it. Give me a try. It's time for something different in Harrisburg because it's certainly a different time.
Well, as I said, Tim, I applaud anyone who's running for office. I certainly applaud you. You know, a lot of great people out there. And let's see that sign you got there.
It pays to advertise. If you need to reach Tim Twardzik, you can find me at tim2020.org. There's a lot on our website. and there is a link to the Facebook page. Please reach out. My phone number is 570-874-3548. If you want to chat, I will answer the phone because I want to reach out and serve my public. Thank you very much.
All right, Tim, that's a nice sign, okay? I wish you the best. He gives you a phone number, so what does that tell you, folks? I wish you and all your people who are running for office the very best, okay?
Thank you, Sam, and we are still going to see you at Vito's.
Okay, yes, we are, right. We'll see you next time.